Condition Conduit is fair and balanced and not overpowered. Just kidding, this thing is broken beyond belief, so here's how you play it before it gets nerfed, you filthy animals. So I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, but there's many different variations of this build. This is probably generally agreed upon to be the best. Spark notes on this is that Corruption makes it so that you do a big pulse of conditions when you swap legends, so you want to get in melee swap legends on people. Retribution is a very tanky line, so it gives you lots of, well, first of all, weakness application. Anytime you can get an extra condition into your build on a Conduit build, just makes it harder to cleanse. Link's Rune makes up for the lack of movement speed. And basically, we take Mistfire so that our F3 and F2 will both daze people, and then the dazes and pulls and such will proc the Akeem Relic. Get CC on this legend, get CC on this legend. And this is a duelist. This kind of plays on the side nodes and holds that and bunkers down and does that type of thing. So this is kind of the best version. Now I'll show you a couple variants you can play. You can alternatively swap in Invocaiton, and the idea behind this is you get swiftness and healing off of rapid flow, which means you can give up Link's Rune and instead take more toughness. Rabbit Amulet plus Rune of Engineer gives you a boatload of toughness, and then Song of the Mist makes it so that your condition damage is a little bit higher on that legend swap. So this is a variant you can play, a little less tankiness, a little more damage. Alternatively as well, you could swap the Xealotous legend around. There's an argument to be made to play actually at the Assassin legend for the roll and the aggressive teleport if you want to play as more of a roamer. There's some really nice combos where you can use face reversal into Spear 4. Or alternatively, you can actually swap Xealotous for Raza for a nice kind of well-rounded legend that has a lot of different utilities and a lot of different situations. So many different variants of this build that you can play. All have their their niches and their time that are best. But the variant that takes Retribution, Xealotous, Malix is generally agreed upon to be the strongest and most obnoxious to fight against. So now you have the knowledge to build it however you like. I'm going to talk through a fight of me versus an engineer player that's a lot better than I am, and kind of show you guys how this build ticks. We start off with just using some kind of simple spear damage from range just to get a little bit of pressure. And then when the engineer uses his dodge, I use my Malix leap to pull him at the end of his dodge. And then I see that he dodges a second time, which allows me to mace 3 kind of into his face. And then I know that he's not got any more dodges because he's used 2. So I can use my Malix leap one more time to get another CC and finish it off with a Xealotous chain to keep him CC'd and engaged. And just that constant chain of CC allows me to get the kill. I lost this match, by the way. Okay, now we're going to finish off with a little bit of a ranked PvP commentary. As you can see here, we are on the forest map. I'm on the Conduit here. Now this game, I actually am on the variant which takes Malix and Xealotous, the dwarf. But one little change is right now I've got the staff equipped. And the reasoning for that is because on forest, it's a very large map and you are basically going to be waiting a while for a plus if you're on a side node. And, you know, Conduit Rev is primarily a side node duelist. That's where you want to be. And so if I'm going to be waiting a long time for any help when I'm in trouble, I figure let's take a staff so that I can survive as long as I possibly can. Now the team fight actually breaks out at far here, and we are outnumbered. You can see that we have every single enemy on us, and right now we have one friend who is currently going on the beast, so that does not give us very good odds of winning this fight. And you'll see that we are slowly one by one losing teammates. I try to do a little bit of a kite away here, but I get followed by the enemy Conduit Rev and I get deleted. So a bit of a rough start to this match. I feel like almost every time I upload footage it's just a rough start to a match, but the moral of the story there was you got to kind of be counting your teammates versus the enemies and how many you have, and if it's an outnumbered fight. In that situation it was. A little combo there, check that out. I did the road on Xealotous and then the Spear 5 inside of it to give myself swiftness so that I can get to mid. Now I can see that my teammate Airly there, big Twitch streamer, really been enjoying his streams. He's going too far, and so I decide that we need to cover mid. Now I would ideally like to swap our roles, him and I'd rather be the one to go far and take the duel. Conduit Rev does fine in team fights, it's not bad, but really where it shines is on these side nodes, so I'm just going to try and do as much as I can, you know, spamming my pulls and giving my team stability and stuff like that. But the enemy team has got a support Troubadour and a support Paragon, which makes it so that it's almost impossible to kill these guys. They're like a Worldly World squad all booned up, and there's just such an intense amount of healing here that it's near impossible to break through this. So typically what I'm trying to do in these team fights is just spam my Malix Leap, spam Call to Anguish, and try and get those Jealous Roads in there to give my team some stability. And we're just kind of laying down damage, trying to, you know, keep it on the target. Unfortunately, you can't always rely on your teams in ranked to focus the target, and we were unable to focus him, and I couldn't get my heal off quite in time there, and I died for it. Now, I mean, two kind of mistakes there. First of all, I didn't get my heal off, but most importantly, I'm really not in the place that I should be to begin with. I really shouldn't be going to these team fights, and I'm going to recognize that here, and so I'm going to try to change my strategy here, and I'm going to type to my friends and say, okay guys, we're going to try to split them apart because they have 2 supports and we only have 1, so we're going to have to do kind of a divide and conquer maneuver here. This map, Forest, is the largest PvP map in the game currently, so a double support comp where the team kind of bunkers around their supports and plays in a big Zerg is actually not the best idea on this map, in my opinion. I think that this kind of more favors a roamer composition where you have a lot of high mobility people. But I mean, if you can bunker on a node like this, the way I'm doing, the other thing too is it takes the enemies a long while to rotate in. We're going to see that here. So right now I'm 1 versus 2. I've got the support warrior and I've got the revenant. So typically if you're 1v2, nice dodge in the spear 4 there. If you're 1v2, you want to give the node because you want to keep your life. But the thing is, one of these guys is a support, so I've only really got to survive against the Conduit rev, meaning that I can probably hold this until my teammate comes in. And quick look at my map, you can see that Aeroly is on his way in now. So I'm going to try and hold this node until he gets here. So he's finally here, so now I can kind of get myself a little breather when it's needed, and it's needed right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take it, get a little bit of space, move off the node, and I had no choice there. I was just about to die, and now I kind of need to wait for my heal, but I'm in a bit of a predicament here. I can either choose to help Aeroly or stay out of combat, and I try to get something in, but I don't really help him. He unfortunately goes down here. I've got a kite for my life here. You want to be a bit of a real thorn in their side. You know, you can use this terrain back here behind the sort of I forget the name. I think this is the altar node on Forest. There's a lot of space back here that you can play around in, and right now I need to win this 1v1 versus a Conduit rev where I'm really not favored because he's at a much higher health than I am, and he can catch some support from his warrior there. So I just need to do my best to win this as cleanly as I can here without taking too much damage. Get a nice CC pull on him, big stack of Torment, and I could greed, but instead I choose to kind of chill back a bit and stay up on my perch, because if you look down there, there's way too many enemies for me to be jumping in there right now. So I'm just going to chill, wait till things cool down, and then once I've got an opportunity to go for that decap and get myself set up on that node, I'm going to go for it. So I get completely out of combat, get a full reset, a full HP bar. And as you can see, the warrior's not forgotten about me, and there's a necro prowling around down there as well. So I'm going to keep juking out this warrior here with, you know, in the back of my mind thinking, okay, I would like to decap that node. That would be ideal. But really, just me being here, 1 versus 2, holding these guys outnumbered, is a good thing. So here's the staff coming to play. I can use my staff 5 to escape all that disgusting slop from the Scourge. And look at this, I go up on the terrain here, and the Scourge falls off the wall, and that separates him and makes it so that I only need to worry about the warrior again, which is exactly what I want. Anything to kind of zone off the enemies and make it so you only need to take a duel instead of a 1 versus 2 is going to help you a lot here. So I'm up top here. I put my stability road down so that it can't be pulled down, and I'm just chucking some damage from range. They get off the node, and so I step in for the decap here. And they immediately come back to the node. They're not going to let me decap, so I'm not going to sit on this node and just eat all the damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to kite around using my terrain. And now here, the warrior actually leaves. So that leaves me with a 1v1 versus this necro. I feel quite confident in this 1v1, so I'm going to basically just try to let him spend all of his wells and stuff. You'll see Scourge just makes literally a million AoEs on the node, so you got to kind of just, you know, wait those out, allow those to kind of cool down, and then go for a bit of a burst here. All these little I forget what these things are called, like the sand swells or something. Get a nice big pull on there with the Akeem relic proc. Big fan of the Akeem relic when I'm using it, but when I'm fighting against it, I kind of think that it needs to be removed from the game. So, but now, okay, here we go. We successfully held 1 versus 2 for a really, really, really long time, which has let our team actually catch up. And now we've got a hold on all 3 nodes. And at this point, really all we need to do is hold that mid node, because I know that we're going to have a respawn wave coming to me here. And I feel totally fine, totally comfortable taking this duel again. So here's that respawn. Here is the Necro one more time. And like I say, I don't feel unconfident at all taking this 1v1, so that's totally fine. The unfortunate news is that my team actually was unable to hold it mid. No blame to the team, you know, it happens. But that's just what happened. And so we give mid up, and I accidentally staff 5 away from the node, which gives him a lot of ticks. Now I don't want to let him decap this. The name of the game is to not give the decap here. And so I need to stay on this node versus a Scourge, which is no easy feat. They spam so many AoEs on this node, it makes it almost impossible to stand on it with them. But I just need to kind of find that gap and try and keep him CC'd so that he can't cast too many of those, and I am successful in that endeavor here. So I need to go for the stomp on this fella now, so we can use our Xealotous road here to get some stability. I can use my Vengeful Hammers as well to mitigate the damage, and there we go, we get the stomp on the Necro. Nicely done. Now, Staff 5 allows us to avoid the ranger damage, get a little bit of a heal off with our Xealotous Legend, but unfortunately we don't stop the decap in time. So at this point, there's no real need for us to stand on this node, especially if we're outnumbered. You know, it's totally fine for us to fight for it when we're in an even-numbered 1v1 like this, but you can see that the Scourge is coming in, and at that point there's no real need to hold this node. And actually, the game is winding down. So I'm going to get one last kill onto this Ranger, and that will give us the 5 points to push us over the victory line and get the win. So there's a little bit of a demonstration on the Conduit Rev gameplay. Play it before it's nerfed. It's going to be nerfed soon. I'm not super high rated because I mostly mess around this season, but there you go. Not a perfect game. I screwed up a bunch of times, but I think it was a fun one and a little bit of example of how you can hold so many people outnumbered for a while, and there you go. Do me a favor, hit that like, comment, subscribe button, be a member for $1, leave me a comment, say hi. That's all. Love you. Bye.